The Dr. Ray Podcast is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio. Here's today's monologue with Dr. Ray Guarendi.
Sometimes I will tease my clients, particularly if it's a mom. What would your mother have done had you talked to her the way your daughter is talking to you? Now, not unusually, I'll hear something like, oh, no, I don't understand it. I never would have dreamed of talking to my mother that way. Why not? Well, I knew. You knew what? Something would happen. What? I don't know. Why don't you know? It never happened. Why didn't it happen? I never did it. Why didn't you do it? Something would have happened. What? I don't know. Who's on first? I don't know. Third base? How do you explain this? How do you explain that there was something within your little psyche that said you do not talk to your mother or your father that way? What was it? I submit. Sound like, who was it that did the Twilight Zone? Rod Serling. I submit for your consideration. You knew because there was a perception that your parents would act. You perceived their authority. Because you perceived it, you didn't challenge it. Well, not as much anyway. Maybe you were sneaky, but you didn't directly jut your jaw out like so many kids do nowadays and challenge that. Oh, Kevin, thank you. I'll make a comment on that. Ah, very good. Maybe that's why. It's a direct challenge. You didn't do it. You didn't have to write a whole bunch of essays. You didn't get grounded very often. Why? You knew. My wife and I had very little back talk from our teenagers. Very, very little. At one point we had 7 or 8 teens. Why not? Because the kids learned early. You do that to mom and dad, and there's going to be all kinds of consequences befall you. You're not allowed to treat people that way. We're not allowed to treat you that way, and you're not allowed to treat your siblings that way, and you're not allowed to treat us that way. And that just is not going to happen, and we will do something about it. The kids knew it, so they just didn't very often test that line. But when the line is really wiggly or absent, they will test it. They'll jump over it. They'll ignore it. That explains it, I believe. It's perception. The perception of authority. The perception of willingness to act on a parent's part. That's why so many older people that I talk to say, I never would have dreamed of doing that to my parents. I'm looking at my kids or I'm looking at my grandkids. I can't believe what they're doing. What is going on? Well, it was early on you learned, and your parents were, I submit, more comfortable in asserting it properly, okay? And you didn't test it. Perception. Powerful factor.
More of Dr. Ray's monologues can be found on his website, drray.com. Monologues as well as full-length programs of The Doctor Is In can be heard at AveMariaRadio.net and EWTN.com/radio.